Okay, we got a 6HP28. It's got a code P0500 vehicle speed sensor A, P2704 friction element A apply time range performance, P0829 56 command position not reachable. So we'll start taking the pump out, 27 torques. Torques on the pan. Alright, the pan is your filter. There's a tab right here. Push in on that, pull up. That'll allow you to get your pass-through connector out. And you may need to grab it with a pair of pliers and just wiggle it out. Come on now, there you go. There we go. Alright, 40 torques on the bolts for our valve body. When you take this valve body apart, you're going to destroy this plate that goes in between. So right here is a code. You need that to order the right plate. On mine, I put a Sonex zip kit and 2 Transgo kits. And if you're going to do the Transgo kit, one of them requires the tools. You only have to buy them one time. So once you buy them the first time, you're good to go after that. This little seal is horribly bad about cracking. Always replace it. And get something in here and grab these rubber seals that are in here and pull these out. There's 4 of them. Okay, now you can get in between here and push your pump out. One of the main problems with these are worn out bushings. If you look right there, you can see the wear in the bushing, so make sure you always put a bushing kit in. There's an adjustment shim here. 30 torques on the pump. Okay, sometimes you can just pop your stator out with the rubber mallet. Sometimes you have to take it over to a press and press it out. Yeah, our pump popped out, so we'll go ahead, lay this off to the side. Okay, I'm gonna have to put this in the press. There's just the stator shaft itself, and then there's two halves here. I just take it apart for cleaning purposes. On our pump, we have ID marks, they face up. I do go ahead and mark my gears just so I'm positive, because some pumps are up, some pumps are down. Just make sure you're not eat up here, or where your converter goes in here. This has a bearing instead of a bushing for the converter, so make sure it's not pitted. And if you look here, there's a tab and a notch in your snap ring. Go 180 degrees from that, and that's where you want to pop your snap ring out at. And let's see, I tried to do this on camera. Doing this right here like this, I usually stick this in a hole in the table. This is all going to pop apart. Hopefully it don't hit the table too hard. Come on, get out of there. Alright, there we go. You have bearing here, it may stay on your hub. Or actually, this is a race. Clutch hub here. Clutch hub here. The bearing will probably stay up in here also. This shaft, make sure it's not broken. Here's another bearing here. This drum here, you're going to want to air check it before you take your clutches out. Okay, you're looking for cracks right up in this area. It seems to be okay. Our clutches are worn out severely. Probably going to need steels here. Right, make sure our cushion plate's in good shape. Yes, we are going to need steels for this drum. Make sure our cushion plate is good here. These steels will be okay. Now, in order to get your planet out of here, you have to go in between the pinion and get right up in. If you look in there, you'll see where it's splined in. Get in between those grooves with the scribe, and you're going to push that snap ring off, and you're just going to have to kind of work with it because you're not going to be able to see it. Just keep working it around until you find where it's at, and you start pushing it off. There, it's already started. Don't let it go back down, or you got to start all over. And just go around until you get it to pop out of there. Keep an upward pressure on it. Well, I had it. Come on now. Let go. Almost. Come on, we just got one more to go. Yep, I dropped it back in there. Alright, come on now. Well, you gotta be this way. There we go. Alright, I just zip tie this together. There is a bearing inside of here and a sun gear. Just keep it together. Now when you go to take this drum apart, there's some fingers here. This has to line up a certain way, so just mark this where it is, and this makes it so much quicker because that planet will only go in one way. I'll take the drums apart in a little bit. Alright, there's a bearing on the back here, bearing on the front. Now this bearing here, or this bushing here, when you go to drive it out, you need to find the opening, because if you don't, you're probably going to screw this drum up. You can find the opening of it and start driving it out. It will go at an angle and it will come around this sleeve. Otherwise it's going to grab this sleeve and screw it up. It's either that, get you a blind spline puller and pull the bushing out this way. Make sure cushion plate is okay here. Yeah, this one's going to need steels, so we're probably going to end up being better off to buy a kit with steels. Once you get to a certain point, it's cheaper. And if you only need a couple sets, then it's not too bad, but otherwise you just buy the whole thing. Our opening of our snap ring is down at about 7 o'clock. You can get a pair of large snap ring pliers on there if you want. Usually you can pop this one out. It's not like some of the others where it's very difficult to get out. This one is usually not that bad. Once you get that off, pull your center support out. There are two dogs, I guess is what you call them. You want to take those off because they will fall off and you don't want to lose them, so it keeps it from turning in the case. Do make sure that there's not too much play back and forth on that. You do have a bearing here and a race here. Set of clutches here. Yeah, these are a little hot, not horribly bad, but they are going to get replaced. Alright, pull your planetary out. There's another set of clutches here. Make sure your cushion plate is okay. And a sun gear, another sun gear. This may be stuck onto the bearing that's in the back there. You can pop it off. If it wants to stay, I would just leave it. There is a bearing that stays captured in there. I think this one stays captured. No, this one comes out. Alright, some of them, I think it was a 6HP28 that stays in there. So there's a race in here, you want to get that out. Make sure all that's in good shape. And zip tie all that together. Make sure on your pinions that there's not too much play up and down and it doesn't wobble. It's not pitted. Alright. Our output shaft. Here's a shim here. There is a bearing in the back of the case. You want to make sure those are in good shape. There's another shim here, or a race here. Case is empty. Okay, all that's left is to take the drums apart and write this one up. Alright, our drum, balance piston, bell plate, make sure it's not cracked. Our regular piston, the retainer, and the snap ring. I zip tie all this together just to make it quicker. This drum here, you're going to need a pair of snap ring pliers. And drum, these bushings here are always bad too. The main ones are in the pump and in that drum, but you really need to replace them all. Our balance piston, bevel plate, make sure it's not cracked. Regular piston, snap ring. Okay, on this drum, you gotta pull this snap ring out. You have to press this down far enough that you can get the snap ring up around this recess. Make sure your bevel plate's not cracked. And once you get that, there's another snap ring underneath that. Pull that out and you can get your piston out, balance piston, and your regular piston. And this one you have a piston on each side. Okay, on the other side we got our piston, bevel plate, make sure it's not broken, snap ring and retainer. On this side we have 2 half moon retainers, bevel plate, make sure it's not cracked. Then on this side we have a piston with 2 retainers, and they have to go in a certain way, so make sure that you remember how it goes. We got a notch in the drum here, and they have to line up on the piston here and over here. And then we got our regular piston here. Alright, that's it for this one. So pretty straightforward. It's typical of most of these. It's going to need a master kit with steels, filter, which is the pan. Going to need the zip kit from Sonax, the 2 Transgo kits, and I guess that's about it for this one. Catch you on the rebuild. Okay, so the Transgo kit does not fit the 6HP28, so we're going to scratch the valve body plate the Sonax kit and both the Transgo kits. We're going to have to buy a valve body for this one. So we're going to see if we can get this one sold. And we'll be back for the rebuild if we get to rebuild it.